back to Five or Flop, a podcast for the best and worst historical fiction has to offer. I'm your host, Erin.
And I'm Grace, and each week we'll be reading a different historical fiction book to see if they're a five or a flop.
Our theme for season 3 is back to school, so children and YA historical fiction. And this week we're reading a pretty new release with The Davenports by Krystal Marquis. Did I pronounce that Marquis?
I actually don't know. I was going Marquis, but it could be Marquis.
Okay, well...
She's American. She's not French, so...
Krystal. What I do every single time I can't pronounce the author's last name.
We call them by their first name, like they're a close personal friend.
Exactly.
What have you been up to this week?
I have an update. I was just editing our Listening for Lions episode, which was a few weeks back at this point, and I talked in that episode about how excited I was to start interviewing for new employees on my team. It turns out I hate interviewing.
Aww.
I get so stressed. I'm like, what if they don't like me as a person? And I'm like asking the questions, and then they're like, what sort of video equipment do you have? And I'm like, a camera? There's like more than that? I don't know. I'm like, if we don't have anything, we'll buy it for you.
Oh.
But yeah, it's really stressful. I don't think I'm a big fan of interviewing. And Santiago was very much, because he has to interview people all day at his job. Yeah. He was like, I told you so.
That's not very nice.
No, but he is correct. Like, he did tell me so. He's like, you're going to hate this. I'm like, that's wrong. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. And it's like 45 minutes every single time. And I'm like, I have other things to do, and I want to devote more time. But I actually had to reschedule an interview on Friday because they were doing surprise fire alarm testing in the building.
There should not be surprise fire alarm testing.
To be fair, they emailed us like 2 days before at like a super wacky time. So we kind of forgot about it until it started happening. So I like slacked the recruiter. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, A, it's going to be rude as hell if I have alarms blaring in the background. B, my poor dog is shaking and will not leave my side.
Oh,
so now I have a rescheduled interview for Monday, and I'm just like, please let us hire someone so I don't have to do this.
You are the tweet that says when you accidentally become important in your job and it ruins your life.
Oh my God, I am so important at work now. But it's okay. It's exciting. It still is very exciting because A, these people I've interviewed are incredibly talented and like they so phenomenal, especially in this area where it's like I'm not skilled at making video. Yeah. But these people are like phenomenal. And then it is exciting to be able to have a full team again. So don't get me wrong. I will gladly do this as many times as it takes.
But you don't like it.
I don't like it. I'm like, I would hate. And at least I'm hiring like for my team because we asked people on other teams to like be part of the hiring process too.
Oh, that's good.
And the interview process, which is good. But I'm like, oh God, if I get tapped to do this for someone who's not even going to report to me.
Yes.
It's just, I get stressed because I'm like, what if I say something wrong that like they're the ideal candidate and I say something like weird? Not like that I'm saying something weird, but, you know, like...
But something that's true that turns them off.
You, like, overthink things, yeah.
Well, at least you're giving it, like, I feel like the gravity it deserves.
It is. It's very important, and I put a lot of time and thought into it. However, that makes me kind of scramble to, like, finish up other stuff at the same time. Plus, we're already scrambling because we're already down a person.
That you need to hire.
Well, we're technically down two, but we never had one to begin with, so that's what it is. But anyways,
what's
new with you?
Well, your thing is about how you're really stressed doing something important at work, and my thing is about how I'm having fun watching Dancing with the Stars.
Love that for you.
I'm in my old person era. It is true. I started watching this season, and I want to emphasize, I don't actually even watch the episodes. I just watch the dances later. I'll watch half of the episodes because they're 2 hours long.
That's like how me and my sister used to watch Dance Moms growing up, which would be DVRing it and fast-forwarding through all the drama.
That's
to get to the dances.
The correct way. But I started watching because this season features Steven Nedorosik, better known as Pommel Horse Guy.
And Grace famously famous in the, her reach truly expands in Olympic years. It's usually college gymnastics, except for Olympics years. But you follow all gymnastics, so.
Oh, yeah.
Your specialty is college.
Yeah. For, Steven's girlfriend Tess and I follow each other on Twitter.
I told all my coworkers you were mutuals with Pommel Horse Guy's girlfriend, and they freaked out.
Tess is a close personal friend, and by that I mean we follow each other on Twitter. But everyone on this season is so cute, especially because every season of Dancing with the Stars has a couple terrible people, but they got kicked to the curb real early this year. Like, I don't know if you heard, but they had Anna Delvey on.
Oh, yeah, with her ankle monitor.
Yeah, she got voted off immediately, I think just because no one voted for her, not because she was the worst, but because she had a piss-poor attitude. And then there was actually a quite good at dancing, like, Instagram model who was paired with a single hot guy, and they were clearly, like, pretending to have sex so people would be interested and like vote for them. Okay. But it didn't work because they were leading into it so hard that people were just like sick of it. And it was very funny because they got voted off and they clearly didn't think they would. And the guy was like, I thought we were going to win. And it's like, no one likes you. So, but everyone left is very delightful. I quite enjoyed Dwight Howard of the NBA fame because he is 6'11" and he's dancing with a girl who's 5'3".
Incredible.
Yeah, and she, poor girl, she's doing her best.
She's getting flung around that stage.
I know, no, he's not that good, no offense to him. Alona Marr, who's the famous rugby player.
Oh my God, I haven't watched the dance, but I saw the pictures from her,
the Encanto dance?
Encanto, thank you. I could not think of the name.
It's amazing. Here's something weird I've noticed about Dancing with the Stars. So Alona and Steven both are Olympic bronze medalists. They it's one thing to go to the Olympics and then it's another thing to win a medal while you are there.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars does not give a shit that they won medals. They're literally just like Olympic athletes. And it's like, no, they are Olympic medalists.
Oh my God.
Those are two different things.
Funny. And also who's still in it, but Tabby from Pretty Little Liars, the spinoff.
Yes, and she had a great Disney night because she was in Zombies 2 on the Disney Channel, so she got to dance to a song that she sang.
Oh, I didn't know that. She seems delightful. However, her character in Pretty Little Liars is like, if Tabby has no haters, I'm dead.
So it's really hard to reconcile that she is nice and a good dancer with the fact that Tabby has no haters, you're dead. It's
not her fault. I think she played the character very well. I think I just hated the character.
And sometimes there's no way around that.
That's what happens.
I think the top 4, my prediction is it's going to be her. The most recent Bachelor and Bachelorette, Joey and Jen, for, all of our folks at home. And then Danny Amendola, who was a football player.
Okay.
And I text my mom, who's a big football person, and I said, can I root for him? Is he a good person or is he not a good person? And she gave me permission to root for him.
Okay,
so cool. I am doing that because he seems like he's actually working hard, and I think that they are not having a showmance because his partner is married and has a baby, but they are both the same age and they have very good dance chemistry. Good. So I think if they wanted to play that up, they could have, but they're wisely choosing not to, unlike the Instagram model girl did.
Yes.
So that's what keeps you in.
Well, that is
focusing on the
exciting.
dance.
That is very exciting.
So I'm having a fun time.
All right. Well, unfortunately for both of us, we can't really update you for what we're currently reading because we are in a non-pod book slump right now.
I know. It helps us to be reading the children's books.
Because you just whip through those.
Yeah. And even, obviously we've selected a lot of YA. Last week we read YA. This week we're reading YA. But they keep a steady, quick pace.
Yes.
That's one of the things I think that definitely sets YA apart from normal adult.
Agreed.
But yeah, we're I'm just not in the mood to read.
No, we got here early for our pod session to the DC Public Library MLK branch. And I did pick up some books, both by former pod authors, another Kristen Hanna book and another Louise Erdrich book. So I'm hopeful. Well, the Louise one, it's really this is going to make or break if I like her because I've read 2 books.
You liked one, you didn't like the other.
Exactly. So this is a trial, whereas Kristen Hanna, so far, everything I've read by her, I've really, really enjoyed.
And I'm wondering, I have dedicated myself this year so hard to tackling my TBR.
Yeah.
So the books that I own that I haven't read.
It's time to read The Woman.
Oh my gosh, it is. But I'm wondering if I'm okay, well, the next book I have to read is a pod book. Yes. 100%. But then after that, I'm wondering, should I just check a book out from the library or not put pressure because I'm am I pressuring myself or whatever?
Yeah, I get that.
I think it's just because you and I both, we read so much that sometimes you just need a brain break.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what it is.
That's fine. I've been watching a lot of Survivor. About to get Santiago into Survivor.
I'm almost done with Girls.
And yeah, you can check out her Twitter for all of her live reactions to it. But sometimes you just need it, and it goes back to what I said in an early episode where I don't judge anyone who doesn't like to read because it's not for everyone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes even readers I'm I do not want to fucking read right now. I'm just not having it. So
that's very nice to say. I wish I could say I don't judge people who don't read because I shouldn't, but I do.
No, to each their own. I try not to, as long as they're not dicks about it. If you're a jerk about it, it's everyone has their own interests. I don't like watching gymnastics like you do. I like casual viewing gymnastics, but I'm not super into it. That's there are some people who are casual readers and not really into it.
Yeah, so maybe some people have read a couple of the books from our bestseller season, but not anything from the prior season.
It's who cares? As long as you are not being judgmental to someone's face and being like, you're a bad person because you don't read, you're a bad person because you do read, like that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyways.
What a lovely message.
I try. Sometimes I try not to be the jerk of the podcast.
Well, I think we should read the synopsis for the Davenports, because if you hadn't heard of it, we have given you no clues as to what it's about.
No, it is about the Gilded Age, though.
Which is...
Hang on. Can I say something about the Gilded Age?
Sure.
It is one of my favorite historical eras. And I know you feel similarly.
Agree.
Personally, for me, because there's just so much fucking scandal and intrigue going on during that. Like, everyone was kind of the worst in the Gilded Age. And I was at this, like, history camp at Flagler College, the only college in the state of Florida I applied to because our mom told me and my sister that we had to apply to a school in Florida. So Flagler College. So I was there for a summer program. And I said, my favorite historical era to learn about is the Gilded Age. And this one girl looks at me with, like, the nastiest look on her face. And she goes, oh, just because they wore pretty dresses?
That is the exact type of thing we were just talking about the being mean to people's faces.
Don't be mean. I hate the saying, don't yuck on someone's yum, because I think it's fucking stupid. But
oh, I love to say that.
Don't yuck on someone's yum. Not trying to yuck on your yum here. I just hate that saying. I think it's super cringe.
No, I understand that completely.
But, like, that is the thing. Like, okay. But anyways, that's why I feel passionately about the Gilded Age.
Well, I agree with everything that you just said. And I will add on top of it, if you have not watched the TV show, The Gilded Age.
And I have not.
On HBO... For you, Erin, and for all of the listeners at home, you absolutely should. This is a description. It's not going to sound flattering because it is a fantastic show. It's Downton Abbey if it was like a little bit worse.
Okay.
It's like Downton Abbey. It's not quite as good.
I have not seen Downton Abbey.
But it is fantastic. To the degree that I will share with you, one of the main actresses is Louisa Jacobson, who is one of Meryl Streep's daughters.
Oh.
And Louisa Jacobson recently came out as a lesbian. And my mom texted the article to me and said they should write this into the show.
Oh my God.
Because what matters to us is not if Louisa Jacobson is happy in her personal life, although of course we both hope that she is, but we really are caught up in the plot of the Gilded Age.
Okay.
And that is the most important thing.
I do need to watch that show.
Yes. And actually, the most important character in the Gilded Age is Carrie Coon, who played the sister in Gone Girl.
Oh.
She is a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, but also, sorry, one more thing to say about it.
Okay.
It does feature a family who is a Black Gilded Age family.
Oh.
So that
very
will not...
relevant to what we're reading.
Exactly. So it will serve as a slight point of comparison. This book takes place in Chicago and the show takes place in New York. So they are different. But, you know, I like that we are seeing that pop up in two recent forms of media.
And I just want to go back and amend my earlier statement. I do indeed like the pretty dresses of the Gilded Age.
In addition to all of the other stuff.
In addition to everything else. So if you only like Gilded Age history for the fashion, that's very valid and should not be criticized.
No. Fashion history is very important.
Anyways, it's synopsis time.
Okay. Again, this is a long one. That's 2 in a row. But, you know,
it's fine.
We're just going for it. The Davenports are one of the few Black families of immense wealth and status in a changing United States. Their fortune made through the entrepreneurship of William Davenport, a formerly enslaved man who founded the Davenport Carriage Company years ago. Now it's 1910, and the Davenports live surrounded by servants, crystal chandeliers, and endless parties, finding their way and finding love, even when they're not supposed to. There's Olivia, the beautiful elder Davenport sister, ready to do her duty by getting married until she meets the charismatic civil rights leader Washington DeWitt and sparks fly. The younger daughter, Helen, is more interested in fixing cars than falling in love, unless it's with her sister's suitor. Amy Rose, the childhood friend turned maid to the Davenport sisters, dreams of opening her own business and marrying the one man she could never be with, Olivia and Helen's brother, John. But Olivia's best friend, Ruby, also has her sights set on John Davenport, though she can't seem to keep his interest, until family pressure has her scheming to win his heart just as someone else wins hers. Inspired by the real-life story of the Patterson family, The Davenports is the tale of 4 determined and passionate young Black women discovering the courage to steer their own path in life and love.
And just from that synopsis, you can see romance is like a big thing.
I did not know that when I suggested that we read this book. I did not know it was like a YA romance novel.
I will say, for a YA book, incredibly fucking horny book.
They do a lot of making out in this book.
They do a lot.
And it's not like they don't dwell on it. Like, you only ever get like a sentence or 2 at a time to tell you it's happening. But it does happen relatively a lot.
It's a very horny book.
And also, you might imagine that you just got a lot of character names. That is also what the book is like.
Yes, and I will probably forget their names and just start referring to them as
older sister, younger sister, maid, and friend.
The brother, the friend's boy, her boyfriend.
Yeah. But let's talk about our good friend, Krystal Marquis. This is her debut. She's a debut author.
Wow.
Although, of course, as we mentioned last week, now the sequel to The Davenports, which is called More Than This, is out now. The most important...
Was not expecting that title.
Well,
it doesn't feel like it fits. I mean, whatever. But
in my opinion, it is a terrible title.
Okay.
But I will say, on the front of the cover of this book, it says The Davenports in very big font.
Yes, it's a beautiful cover.
Well, that's the thing. This book is yellow, and the second book is purple.
Oh, okay.
So it is a beautiful cover. You would see it right away if it was displayed in a bookstore because it is aggressively yellow.
Yeah.
But the design on the second book, it still says The Davenports really big, and then More Than This, like,
okay,
smaller
that's fine. That's
under
fine.
it. Yeah. But that will have just come out. And actually, we have our second NaNoWriMo book. The first draft of The Davenports was written as part of NaNoWriMo.
This and Water for Elephants, right?
Yep.
Wow.
So she did go around and, like, revise it afterwards.
Oh, of course.
So it wasn't just actually written in that 1 month.
Oh, okay.
I think,
the cover for More Than This, I looked it up. It's also a beautiful cover.
Yes. So whoever did those, we probably should have looked it up, but kudos to you for designing those covers. They are great. Krystal Marquis, she attended both Boston College and UConn. Mm-hmm. And I just copied this description verbatim from her website because I was like, I don't know if I could sum up her job title better. She is an environmental health and safety manager for an online retailer.
I love when authors just, like, have a job, too.
I know. She hasn't quit her job. She's still working.
Well, especially because she's a debut author. But
yeah. Maybe she could in the future.
I will say I didn't know she was a debut author.
Me neither.
It makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
And when I get into talking about the book, I will talk about that.
Yes. So The Davenports, this is my one last, like, little interesting tidbit, has been optioned for a film or TV series for Amazon Prime. And it has been optioned by Alloy Entertainment, which is the company that made Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, and The Vampire Diaries.
This show would be phenomenal. Or excuse me, this book would be phenomenal as a show. And this is going to be my main criticism as a book, is that it follows too many characters. But on screen in a TV show, that's not an issue.
It would be fabulous. And here's something else that I don't think has come up a lot this season. I thought it would be more. Mm-hmm. There is, I think, a wide variation in how much I like this book having read it now and how much I would have liked this book had I read it when I was in the age range.
Oh, this is the biggest example.
Because I would have loved this book if I had read it when I was 14.
Yes,
I would have been
absolutely
obsessed with it. Yes. But in this case...
It's like Bridgerton for teens and preteens.
Yeah. Or me, because I still love Bridgerton.
No, if Bridgerton was written for teens or preteens. Saying that Bridgerton is the adult version.
Well, it's like The Gilded Age.
I would probably
for teens or preteens.
I would probably not recommend a 12-year-old read the Bridgerton books. But
No.
I'm sure they are, so that's fine.
And, good for them.
So obviously, we have not read anything else by the author.
Because there is nothing else
We have
to
not
read.
seen any shows based on this. However, I think this would be a really good show.
Yes.
Specifically a show and not a movie.
Yes. I think they could make it a good movie. I think it would be a better show than a movie, though.
Yeah, because you can dive in and explore all those characters.
Yeah.
Disclaimer time?
Disclaimer time.
Our judgments come based on the book and characters within the book rather than any real historical figures they may have been based on, which is the case here, and we'll get into that later.
Very explicitly in the synopsis, based on real people.
Also, spoilers.
Yeah.
All right.
But honestly, we can't even give that many spoilers because this is not going to be a series that goes on and on. It's a 2-book series, so More Than This is going to be the cap. But we are left on a bit of a dangling note for all of the characters.
Yes.
Which we are fine about.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into, I think, the biggest thing that I want to talk about, I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
Why did we have 4 characters? 4 POV characters.
4 POV characters was too many.
And for like a 350-page book or something like that?
And it's not that I really disliked any of them in particular. There were just, I think it needed winnowing down.
And that's why I think it's very clear hearing that she's a debut author. It feels like, I think her future books, and I hope she does continue to write because I think this was a great first book and she has much potential in the future as well. I think she's going to get a lot stronger by narrowing down her focus.
I think so too. There were too many characters, and what I said about them is that they're simplistic.
Yes.
They each have one thing going on, and it's the thing that you heard. The older sister is becoming politically aware.
That one friend who's too woke.
Exactly.
She's an appropriate level of woke.
The younger sister wants to take over her father's company, and he won't let her because she's a girl.
The younger sister is giving Teacupa the cartographer's secret.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. The maid wants to quit being a maid and open her own black hair beauty salon.
Love her. Nothing negative to say about her.
Which is a great idea also.
Yes.
So you should do that. And then there is the older sister's best friend who needs to marry rich.
Yeah, because her father is running for mayor and they're like sinking all of their money into the campaign.
Yeah. The mechanism by which they are like out of money and they need her to marry rich because the dad is running for mayor, I feel like is really poorly explained though. I feel like you get like the dad is running for mayor and we don't have a lot of money.
This book could have been broken into 4 different books in a series.
Honestly,
exploring like each girl in detail. However, if she wanted to keep the multiple in this one series, I would have cut the 2 older girls and just kept Helen and Amy Rose, the younger sister, and the maid.
That is so interesting. Okay, we already said we both had ideas for what they should do. I have basically the exact opposite idea for you. Well, what I think, because my favorite scene in the book is the very last one, where it's the 3 siblings and they have all been unlucky in love, are sitting around the table in their house, like talking to each other about what they're going to do to like pick themselves up. And they're like, the Davenports aren't going to stay down.
That
or
is
whatever.
very cute. I did like that a lot.
So in my opinion, the POV characters should be the 2 sisters and the brother.
Oh, I would like that. I see that could work as well. That would work better with the title because why is it
Because it's the Davenports?
And 2 of the girls are not Davenports and are just affiliated.
I think you're right. I think either one of those would work better because I will say I think...
Or a separate book for each girl.
Yeah, I do think the 2 younger girls were the better ones.
Yeah. Even the one, Helen, the car girl, even she felt a little bit like... 2 cartographer's secret is like the best way, and that's not a good reference point for someone who's coming in and just listening to this season of the podcast. But she's a little bit like, I can't do this because I'm a woman.
And that's...
Hands on hips.
And she's not illustrating that with nuance, and that's like the only thing.
Yes.
I will say, so the 2 older girls, they each have one thing going on.
Yeah.
The younger girls, they have 2 things going on, which is Helen wants to fix cars, and also she's in love with the guy who is trying to marry her older sister.
Oh my god, the guy who pretends he's rich and is not rich.
Yes, and well then at the end they break up because he's like, anyway, I know we're in love and stuff, but I just want to tell you I don't have any money. And she's like,
you lie. And it wasn't the fact, she's not shallow, it wasn't the fact that he's poor, it's the fact that he lied to her entire family.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not really happy about that.
Yeah.
So we're going to break up for now. And then the maid is trying to get her money to buy her beauty salon. Mm-hmm. And she's varying like up and down. Like she has a storefront. Someone else purchases it. She thinks maybe about going up to California.
Going to New York.
Going to New York. And then also the brother is in love with her. Yes. And she loves him too. But they're like, she's the maid and he is not, he doesn't stand up for her.
He's like so nasty to her in public.
He's so nasty to everybody.
I don't like the brother.
Well, he also had like an understanding with the best friend, but he clearly just didn't want to marry her. And instead of being like, hi, I don't want to marry you, he like avoided her.
Yeah.
And she said, because this is a book that features making out. She was like, we've made out a bunch.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't just make out with a girl a bunch.
Especially in the Gilded Age.
In 1910 and then just like ghost her when she thinks you're going to get married. It's so rude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I like the 2 younger girls better. And I think it could have also worked better if it was just centered on the Davenports.
Yeah.
As the title implies.
Or I felt like Ruby could have been entirely her own thing too.
Yeah. I would have been fine if she got cut, to be fair.
I would have been, because she was not fleshed out. Her storyline was not fleshed out. I really don't know why she was included. No. Because you could have had Amy Rose's story if you had the brother's point of view.
Yeah. Hers is the story that ends the happiest, actually. Mm-hmm. Because she essentially is trying to get John Davenport to propose to her by making him jealous. Mm-hmm. Which is like, that's honestly a pretty good plan as far as plans go.
Yeah.
Like there's
worse things.
There's not really any way to like make a guy propose to you, but this is, I think, the best you can do. But
she got pregnant. Well, that could have done it. But
but she has, like, the guy that she's using to make him jealous, they fall in love.
Yeah.
Essentially. So they do end the book engaged.
Yeah.
But she, like, they get engaged, and she's like, I have a great idea. Let's keep our engagement secret, because she doesn't want to tell her parents. Because it's not even that this guy's not rich, because he is rich, but he is, like, a social pariah.
Yeah,
because
he's not cool.
Well, because he's biracial. That's the thing. And his mother was enslaved, and his father was a white man.
Yeah.
And he ends up saying, like, they were in love, and he, like, bought her freedom and stuff, but no one cares.
Yeah.
And then he finds out that she hasn't told her parents that they're engaged, even though she said she would.
And he's like, you're a fucking coward.
And he's like, you're a coward. And I laughed out loud because I was like, she is a fucking coward. Yeah. Like, you're a grown woman. Tell your parents you're engaged. But yeah, I did not realize it was going to be this romancy. No. And I don't have a problem with that. But I missed more of the Gilded Age intrigue.
Why am I much more in favor of romance if it's YA romance than adult? Like, I just think adult romance, like that Abby Jimenez book I just DNF'd.
That I love so much.
Yeah. I'm like, I hate this shit, but I'm like, oh, maybe it's like the teenage girl in me.
So kids can learn to love.
But I felt...
There was not, like, oh, you only like it because of the pretty dresses. There was, like, not enough pretty dresses. There were some balls, but you didn't really hear about what's going on at the balls because the characters were constantly sneaking away from them. You're not really hearing about, like, the political machinations of, like, the guy running to be Chicago's first black mayor.
This book really felt like it brushed over a lot of the conflicts in society, like labor rights movements, which I feel like could have been a really big theme with the carriage shot. Racial tensions, I feel like, are really brushed over. And I see you have some notes about, like, what Olivia is in the know about that we'll get into in a second. I feel like it's maybe to show how sheltered the girls, or at least 3 out of the 4 girls, are. But it felt like it was not enough about what was going on in the society.
Yeah, and even with Olivia, who I think is set up to really be, like, the central character of the 4, her journey is going from being this frivolous, sheltered, Gilded Age girl who just wants to get married. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think, especially if you live in a society where what they want is for you to get married, and you also want that. That's convenient for you.
Yeah, like that's fine.
Good for you. But she becomes politically aware and then starts working with activists is her arc. But she is such a stand-in for, I think, for the author to communicate things to the reader.
Yes.
Like, she's never heard of the Jim Crow laws, for example. Mm-hmm. And she does live in the North, and she is sheltered, all of this. But her father was born into slavery.
Yeah.
So it's just the things that she doesn't know seem contrived to the point where the purpose of that is so that someone can tell her, and therefore the audience.
And we've definitely seen this in some other books too.
Oh, certainly.
But this isn't an issue unique to this book. It's kind of like the opposite of the Underground Railroad, which was very like the author expected the reader to know it.
Yes.
And it just had that trust in the reader to understand. And maybe it is different because the age groups it's directed to are very different.
Oh, 100%.
But I feel like, I'm assuming primarily teenage girls who are reading this, they would know about, like, they would have learned about that in school already.
Well, and I don't mind a little bit of hand-holding in a book if it's necessary, but also, in this case especially, it has an impact on the plot.
Yeah.
Because her learning is her arc.
Yeah.
And you don't hear, at the end, she goes to a march, but otherwise you're not hearing a lot of specifics about what she's doing. She's not giving money because she doesn't have access to her family's money. She's giving her time. She's constantly, like, sneaking out of the house.
She's bringing food a lot to, activist meetings.
But other than that, you're not hearing a lot about what she's actually doing as an activist other than learning.
Yeah, I thought her sections were all very weak.
Yeah, and
her romance felt so forced to me because, of course, she falls for, like, the activist leader.
Yeah, and I wasn't even sure what happened at the end there because she's supposed to get on the train with the activist leader to go to Philadelphia.
And then one of their, like, servants had been arrested in a protest, and she had to go bail the servant out.
Yes.
And I think that she misses the train.
However, to me, that is not, like, an end because you can just get on a train.
Get on a
train tomorrow. Like, she's like, oh, I'm not going. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to, like, put my roots in my community, which is really nice. Like, she could have come to that conclusion organically, and I don't have a problem with that. And she's like, I'm not going to follow a man and go from city to city. I'm gonna plant my roots in Chicago because this is what I care about.
Yeah.
But the missing the train to reach that conclusion did not feel like
No, I wasn't satisfied
there
with
wasn't
that.
emotion behind it. Like when the younger sister breaks up with the boyfriend that lied about being rich, you're like, yeah, you feel the emotional weight behind that decision.
Mm-hmm.
When Amy Rose breaks up with the brother for being mean to her,
Yeah.
essentially, you can feel the force behind that. Like she's never willing to give up what she's worked so hard to get.
She is the best character in this entire book.
Yeah. The fact that her name was hyphenated did kind of annoy me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I like hyphenated names. But she's the only one that had one, and I was like, does she have a hyphenated name? She's the poor one? Like, why does she have a hyphenated name? Well, you know.
She can't afford a space between her names.
Well, and also the whole time, none of the other characters, like, talk to her at all. They're like, oh, she's their maid, but she's, like, their good friend.
No,
but, like,
she's not.
The sisters don't talk to her.
She's very much, like, doing her own thing, which now I see your point of, it could have been the 3 Davenports, and we still could have gotten all of her plot line.
Because she's with the brother. Because she would have still
brother.
been involved. Yeah. Like, you don't get the really good POV. Like, I do think her POV is the best one just because she has all of these conflicted feelings about, like, working so hard towards something. She's lost her mother. Mm-hmm. She's lived at this place her whole life, you know, and then leaving it to go and open up her salon. But, yeah, she had the most nuanced, I think, because she was the only one that wasn't, like, privileged and protected.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of this book felt really flat. I felt like, I really think especially, and we can talk about the father's carriage shop because that was the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I am disappointed that they didn't go into, like, labor movements at all. No. I think there was a really, especially with Helen and Amy Rose, I think there was a really great opportunity to add that in. And that would flesh out Helen's role beyond just, I can't do this because I'm a woman and you're stopping me.
Well, and she was constantly, like, sneaking into the carriage shop to do, like, repairs and to work on, especially to work on cars. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, she and the brother want the dad to turn the carriage company into a car company.
Because it's 1910.
Well, because carriages are going by the wayside. But the only interactions that she has with the workers in the automobile shop are that they don't like her because she's a girl. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no other, like, implication that, like, oh, they don't like her because she's, like, the wealthy owner, like, swanning into, or, like, that she has a good relationship with them even. Like, that's the only thing that they contribute. And they're not really characters. They're just there.
They're NPCs.
Doing that. Exactly. That's a really good description, actually. I know you said it as a joke, but it is a good description.
No, it is. Yeah, the father is wanting them to go bankrupt, essentially, because he's like, I am not modernizing. We're only doing carriages.
And they're like, bruh, people are not going to buy more carriages.
I had a lot of issues with him. Because of that only. I didn't have any other issues with him.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see the parents that much.
No, they're not really involved.
No. The mom pops her head in to be like, you know, talking about the older daughter getting married.
You get more of Ruby's parents.
You do get a lot of them because they're, like, doing machinations behind the scenes to get her to marry John Davenport, who has a lot of money. Who won't have money if they don't start making cars.
Exactly.
Because by the end of the book, they're not making cars.
No. So, would you read the sequel to this one?
Probably not, but only because I have a lot of books I want to be reading.
Yeah.
I maybe would otherwise.
If you were 14 when you read this book, would you read the sequel?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our clearest example this season of, like, if we were the intended audience, we would have ate this shit up.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're young, learning, like, this is a slightly more niche topic of history. And when I say niche, I mean, like, you're not going to learn about it at school. Like, the Black Gilded Age specifically.
Yeah. Even just more broadly, the Gilded Age, you're not going to touch on that for a while.
No, not really. And when you're at this age range, I think a lot of the beauty of reading historical fiction is just knowing about stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, a romance novel, which I love, and especially when you're, like, you have less of an awareness of the cringe factor of romance when you're younger, you eat it up more.
Like me.
Exactly like you. And,
yeah, I think
and it is about an interesting topic. Like,
however,
that's the 1-2 punch.
However, I probably won't read the sequel. If they make this into a TV show, I will probably watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just because we would make a bonus episode out of it.
No, like, I would genuinely just watch it. It's like how we were going to watch Catherine Called Birdie the movie anyway, once we found out about it.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I think you had a worse time with this book than me. I think it's fine. The writing is fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's all plot and characterization for me. I don't think it's badly written, and we've had some badly written books. I don't think it's badly written by any means.
This is a solid debut. I think as she learns, and if possibly she gets like a meaner editor, there's a lot of good here. And also, she clearly has demonstrated passion for the topic, because to discover this Patterson family, which we'll go into I guess now, that's a lot of like passionate research.
Yes.
So she clearly cares about this a lot. Mm-hmm. And she's a grown woman as a debut author.
Yeah.
She came into this, she has a job. She's not trying to...
Do you think I can find her on LinkedIn?
She might be trying to become an author, but she is like...
She has
not
other stuff going on,
yeah. So I like Krystal Marquis, and I hope she keeps writing. Maybe I will read the sequel.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not sure. I really am not that interested in YA romance generally, but I have read the first one.
Her LinkedIn header is for the book, which is really cute.
Yes, promo yourself, girl.
Sorry, I'm like, get her LinkedIn. She has less LinkedIn connections than me. That's crazy.
You go crazy on her LinkedIn.
She works at Amazon.
Oh.
That's where she's a workplace health and safety manager.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Online retailer.
Sorry, I'm deep diving now. Anyways.
Imagine
she got a 4.0 in her UConn undergrad.
Imagine if a person that you worked with just came out with a whole ass, like, trade book. Like, geez.
And she got her Boston College degree, which I'm assuming is probably a master's degree, in biology.
I didn't specify because it was unclear, just based on the way that she phrased it on her website. It was unclear to me if she had 2 separate degrees from Boston College or UConn, or if she transferred at some point. So I just didn't specify what degree she had because it was unclear to me.
Yeah, it doesn't have years or anything, which is unfortunate because that's how I figure out how old people are. Is I'm like, okay, if they started college at like the usual age.
Well, also, I'll add here, I couldn't tell how old she is either. She looks real good.
I thought I was going to say something. Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's really cool. I want to publish it all. I want to publish a book and then also...
Just keep your day job.
Yeah, I would totally do that. Wow. Okay, NaNoWriMo, here I come. We're recording this on October 26th. Do we think I can do... Wait, should I do it as a bit for the pod?
Wait, that would be so fun. Then we could do a bonus episode about it.
Oh my God, I would. You think I won't do it? I don't know if I'll hit 50K words, but I'll do it.
You can do your best.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the historical accuracy now that we've researched our author on LinkedIn, which is great for me because I love to LinkedIn stalk people.
New segment.
Actually, we just had some issues that you know about, and I'm not going to get into detail. We had some issues with some of our neighbors recently, and I got one of their names, so we got to stalk her on LinkedIn, which was really big for me.
Classic. All right, here, let's dive into the historical accuracy. So, on its face, this is about the Patterson family of Ohio, and they owned C.R. Patterson and Sons, which is to this day the only Black-owned automobile company in American history. It is no longer open.
Okay.
And I will say, just like last week with Elizabeth Wein, this is a great historical note at the end of the book.
Makes your life easier.
Thank you, Krystal. But the father, the patriarch of the family, was Charles Richard Patterson. He was born into slavery in 1833 in Virginia. And no one really knows quite how he ended up free and in Ohio. It's possible he ran away or that he purchased his own freedom.
Okay.
I have noted here, you don't really get that part of the story for the father in the Davenports either. So maybe that might be why.
I feel like that was intentional.
Because she didn't want to invent something. She wanted to stay as true to the inspiration she
Which
could.
I respect.
Yes. And really, she says she was inspired because there is so little information available on the on the Patterson daughters.
Okay.
So I believe that was all they inspired the characters, but otherwise just completely imagined, because the only people that kind of have lived in the historical record are the father and the son who took over the company. But he started off with the company. He had a white partner, and they made Carriages. Eventually, Charles Richard Patterson bought him out and had sole ownership of the company.
Wow.
Yes. So he died in 1910, which is the year that the book takes place. And his son, Frederick, took over. And he was the one that transitioned into making automobiles. So they actually did not make cars for that long, just because they were a smaller outfit. Yeah. So their profit per car was much lower than like Ford had with their assembly lines. So they made cars for a few years, and then they transitioned into creating bodies for vehicles. So,
Okay.
like, they would send it somewhere else and they would put the engine in and stuff.
Gotcha.
And also on car repair.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big part of their business. And they closed in 1938.
Oh, that was a big typo.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So they are no longer open, but they did putter along through the Depression.
Wow.
Which was a big hit
deal,
for them.
yeah.
It seemed like they weren't doing well since then, so I think they kind of limped along in that decade.
I feel like most businesses did.
Yeah. And so I tried to look up what we have defined as the Great Migration to talk about this large Black population in the North. Because I know Chicago was a big destination for the Great Migration. And it really is, 1910 is like the very, very beginning of it.
Okay.
Like some places say 1910 was the start of the Great Migration. Some places say it started a few years after that. So there is still a considerable movement north, but this is pre-Great Migration, as it is called. And I tried to find evidence that there was this large Black elite in Chicago in 1910, and I really couldn't find evidence for that. Mm-hmm. That's not saying it doesn't completely exist, but not that I could find. And there's not really evidence provided by Krystal Marquis, and she doesn't discuss why she chose to set the book in Chicago. There was a considerable size Black elite in New York in this time period. The Gilded Age TV show actually was very helpful for me in getting info on that because they feature, I told you it would come back around, a Black GildedAge family.
I see.
And so there are a lot of articles about, is this real? Breaking down stuff that happened in the Gilded Age. And that show takes place in 1883. So it's earlier than this time period.
I see.
But obviously that elite population is not going to just vanish in 30 years.
No.
So it does exist. It didn't necessarily exist in Chicago.
Okay. That makes sense. I also feel like I just don't really know much about Chicago. Just period.
Neither of us do, unfortunately.
We need to get Jen and Diana here. Jen and Diana, who are from Chicago fame.
Woo.
Okay, so let's get into our rating for this. And if you're ready. Okay.
I'm ready. Mine is really easy. I'm giving it straight 3s. And I want to address specifically historical accuracy. I'm not sure I've given a score that low, but I think just the fact that there's not an addressing of the population in Chicago is a big deal for me. I really do love the basis of the Patterson family because that is like that's historical figures that aren't widely remembered. So I really love that inspiration, but considering that Chicago is such an important destination and setting to these books, that I would have liked more from that. But theme, character, story, and vibes, 3s across the board for me. It just seems like it's fine. To me, it's middle of the road. And I think I gave it a 3 on Storygraph. I might have gone
3.75.
higher.
I just looked.
Okay, so that's a big discrepancy. I think, frankly, it accounts for when you finish a book, you imagine it as better immediately than it was.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, like, I haven't really thought about it since then.
So I gave it a 3 for historical accuracy for the same reasons you did. Like, I thought the Patterson element was so strong and really great, but I also felt just like there was so much going on in society that wasn't really touched upon at all. And I think there's room for her to address that in the sequel. Mm-hmm. But obviously the sequel is out by publication date of this episode, so who knows? The theme, I gave it a 2 because, like, it wasn't really much of a theme. Each girl kind of had a little bit of their own individual theme, but, like, not really.
And there wasn't really much overarching.
No. The characters, I gave it a 1 because, for the most part, these characters were very, very flat to me. I would have wanted a book with either all the Davenports, like you said, but even then, Olivia would have to be strengthened a lot. Helen would have to get more than just, like, her hashtag girl boss, not like other girls. Or we could have just had, frankly, a book about Amy Rose's plotline, and I would have loved that.
Honestly, yeah.
She was the only good character to me, so that's why, a 1. Story, a 2, for the same reasons. There was just too many characters that didn't have much going on. Vibes, I did give it a 3, and a lot of this was the cover, because I thought it was gorgeous, and because I think it has the strength of a book to translate into a TV show. So that's a 2.2. I gave this a 2.5 on Storygraph. That is a flop for me, and I had high expectations for this one, so I'm pretty disappointed. However, I think if I read this when I was 15, 14, whatever, I would have given it a much higher rating.
I agree. And for me, it's fine. I wouldn't go, so even though I gave it the 3.75, I wouldn't give it a fine leaning 5. I would give it a normal fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right. Next week, which is Grace's birthday. Woo! What are we reading for your birthday?
We are reading our last World War II book of the season, Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys.
Which I am excited about because, jumping ahead a little bit, I have read that before, but not in a very long time. And I remember absolutely loving it. So at the time of recording, I have not reread it again, but I am anxious to see if my original review holds up.
This is your codename Verity.
This is my codename Verity. But until that episode comes out, or not until, just you should be doing this anyways, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, _pod, and make sure you're following along in our Storygraph reading challenge, in case you're in a book slump and need some things to pick up on recently.
You can also fill out the recommendation form in the bios of any of our social medias if there are books you think we should be reading on the pod. And for general queries, you can always email us at fiberclopodcast@gmail.com.
Also, if you read the sequel to this book and want to let us know how it is, I'm very curious.
Please do.
I will probably be looking up a plot summary of it online, which is kind of my cheat sheet of, aka when I didn't want to go reread all the Hunger Games because I didn't like them, but I did want to know what Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was about.
Anyway, happy reading.
Happy reading.
Bye.